Okay, guys, really happy to be here. First question, actually, how many corporates we have here? How crowd is split it? Do we have any corporate representatives? No. Startup representatives? Yes. Okay, so let's change a bit the topic of this presentation because this could be let's say, more relevant for the corporates than startups. So I'll go through, let's say, the journey that we actually as a company went through to discover the model that actually works by working with the biggest corporates. So right now we are a venture building company, but 4 years ago when we founded it, it was a company with the purpose of let's say, bringing innovation to the corporates. But we didn't have let's say, an idea how to actually do it. And I think we found the right place right now on the market where we are actually able to do it. And I will explain you a little bit how actually it was done. So the first thing we need to understand, and you, as you have your own startup, you need to understand is how the corporate innovation landscape actually look like. What corporates can have in their portfolio to work with you and to basically interact with new technologies, innovation, and so on. So they have accelerators, right? They sponsor accelerators like this, or they have their own programs that startups can join, and they can do the program, and then what is actually coming next. So you can see that a lot of corporates are actually struggling with the idea of accelerators, and you have a lot of programs that actually, they have a lot of marketing behind it, but then actually with those startups, nothing is happening further, because in the corporation, you don't have a link with the core business and the accelerator, which actually is a tool to do nice marketing, pretty good HR, because if you will fail and you're smart, it's a good reason for you to join the corporation maybe. So they are hiring people from, but basically they don't know what to do after. And it's quite let's say, connected with the core business in many cases. So the other thing that they have M&As departments and they have CVC departments and the CVC funds. But the issue with this, if you have an early stage startup, is that for those guys, you're too small. Because for them to actually start working, you need to have at least a couple million valuation or even more to get them moving. Because simply in the corporate structure, if you need to address guys from M&As, they are probably in a global structure somewhere. So they earn a lot of money and they need to have something to, let's say, big enough to move. So they are looking for the deals that they have big valuations and they can move this big structure around to actually get the profit from it. Same thing with the CVCs. So they don't understand that much startup business. They more like corporate guys that went into the startup world, not other way around. Of course, it's changing, but in general, for them, making a deal, basically those are big tickets. And they have a big funds, so this is how it looks like. So if you have an early stage startup, you're not going to the CVC directly. You need to, let's say, think about tapping into more. And probably if you're a startup as well, you're not looking for the corporate investor. You're looking for a corporate client or corporate partner to go with, not necessarily a corporation that will seed you money and then will push you for the results. And they have internal innovation departments. And basically, internal innovation departments that we see from our perspective, so for the business guys in the corporation is, so innovation department. Those are the guys that play football during the working hours that we are actually doing business here. So they don't have a good PR and marketing within the company. So they are not able, I'm generalizing here. Of course, there are internal departments that gets how it's done. But basically, they don't have they don't have a credibility and let's say respect within the company, that guys from business are not treating them seriously. And of course it's changing, but basically this is how it looks like. So how actually you as a startup can think and move through this weird complex situation to get the deal with the corporation. And how actually you can implement innovation in a way that it will be business efficient for the corporation. Oh, yeah. And of course, also business department itself, you have a lot of issues in there. Because if they want to, for example, do an innovative project, it's really hard for them because they have budgets for projects, but they cannot hire people. They have tons of internal meetings, then they have tons of KPIs, and they have tons of, let's say, current projects that they are running, and they have, really, really strict timelines there. So they don't have time to deal with maybe even really, really interesting thing that you have on your side. And still, they need to do both two things because they will somehow be pushed out from the market. So they need to do two main things. They need to transform the core, because right now it's, let's say, old enough. So they need to transform the legacy systems, the core business that they have and they provide. And then they need to build the new part of the business. And thinking about all those structures is a really hard thing to do. So they need to keep those innovation muscles, let's say, still up and running. So this is the model how actually I will show you what kind of model we are working with and what was our story in terms of finding the way to actually make it happen. So what we are doing as a company, we have really simple idea. To give you a context of it, because majority of you is startup founders or you work for startups. So we started as a company that wants to deliver innovation to corporates. We started with a thing that's called Corporate Club. It's basically a community of corporates that are gathering on events like this, but it's only corporates inside of the room. And we talk how they can change themselves. So this is the one part. The second part, we show them a relevant, let's say, innovations and technologies and startups that can deliver something interesting to them. The second layer that we launched, but we've seen, okay, so those guys are involved, but nothing actually concrete happening after those meetings. So, you have a certain amount of time that is sexy enough to get them there, but after a year, your business model is useless because those guys already know the things that you're talking about. They already know how to approach those, let's say, new startups. And they're starting to launch their own initiatives. The second pillar that we added was technology scouting. So we said, okay, so we have those events. So now we need to do something to get them, let's say, implement those startups. So we say, okay, we will brief your main challenges. We will know your main challenges, and we will give you on a plate startups that can solve those challenges. And it was a really cool idea, but they cannot implement it. So they need help of someone who will actually help and think how to do it in a way that they don't need to do it by themselves. So this is our second model that still operates, by the way. And the third model was, and the problem with technology scouting was that even if you find the right startup for the, let's say, brief, not necessarily it's one startup. It's basically a mix, a set of different technologies that need to be combined together. And this is actually when we came up with the idea of venture building. So we had a portfolio of companies, and we said, we see the gaps, we see the niches that we can enter. So let's take the best of the corporate business, so assets, relationship, customer base, credibility, all those things, and the best things from startups. So new business models, new talents, technology, everything that is actually agility, ability to move fast, everything that is nice in a startup world. And based on those challenges that corporates see, let's build new digital solutions. And to do that, we figure out we need to have two major things. We need to have a repetitive process. So we said, OK, so it needs to work like a production line. So we need to have process to actually do it, and the methodology to do it. So this is the process that we are working with. So we do really short part of ideation. So we rip apart the challenge that they have. And we think, OK, so this will be a relevant business model that we can move on the market. We create, let's say, a tangible thing that when you go on the board meeting, you can present the application and not present the PowerPoint, which will actually everyone likes to shoot at because, oh, this guy is pointing something interesting, so I will kill it because it's not doable. When you're going and you show, OK, so this is an app, this is already working, this is a business case, this is how it looks on our portfolio, this is how we will implement it, so you have all the HLD documentation and everything, how it's integrated within the company structures. It's harder for them, for the steerco to actually kill it. So we create this as a phase 2, and here we still have a, let's say, ability to say to them, guys, this is not going to fly. So we are not thinking, like we are not moving forward with the projects, with the companies that we are not actually believing ourselves. And this is all based on the user test. So we have also first validations. So if we are not killing the project here, we are starting with the hard development, and we are starting with the with moving forward, with signing LOIs with the clients. We are hiring founders, let's say, and co-founders for the company, and we go forward to market rollout. And the second part is, so to do that in an efficient way, because we need to be way, way, way faster than the internal departments of the corporation, we need to have a production line. So what we've done, like we know during the startup process of building, you have repetitive things that you need to have in your startup, that you need to deal, like HR, legal, branding, marketing, all those things. Let's say they are different for different startups, but they are commodity as well. All of us needs it. So what we've did, we generate ideas here, and we let's say multiply the number of ventures that we are building, but we are using our own shared service that teams that actually deal with the core business of those startups, they are really, really focused, and they don't need to care, oh man, I need to hire a legal guy because I don't know how to put together the agreements with the client. And this gives you ability to actually move fast. So, and what is actually our observation why this model works, and we really have, right now we work in this model for a year, and we have 11 projects like this already in portfolio. So we see for the corporates, it's something that actually catches them. And this is, we think, why. So we take best from consulting, because we do consulting work, we do validation, we do slides, we do reports, we do a market research. But we are moving it forward. We are not only giving them, okay, so this is your strategy, guys. You need to deal with that. Here you go. And take $1 million for it. So we take best what is from consulting. We hire also consultants, but for, let's say, different jobs than they have right now. So we do this deep market research. We do have market expertise and so on. So we can deep dive into the challenge they have. And on the other hand, we take best what is from software house. Because what is the problem with software house? They will tell you that they will do the thing for you, but they cannot take responsibility. They will charge you if let's say, the project is a little bit longer, and so on and so on, and we will not take any responsibility. So what we do take speed, agility, ability to create new things, and we take this responsibility. We say, everything that we do, we will share with you the risk, because we are owning the company that we are building with you. So if we will fail as well, and we don't want to fail and kill our companies. We want to move them forward, and we want to exit them. And it's not a CVC type of activity, but if you want to multiply those projects, you're still able to build a portfolio. So when the corporation is repetitively challenging, let's say, and solving problems by this model, you're actually able to gain a portfolio of ventures that you have and own shares in, and you can get a nice return from that. So a couple of examples how it really works. So yeah, we work with over 40 companies right now, mainly, and majority of them are on the financial, in the financial industry. So we have a strong partnership with MasterCard. We are one of the 11 official MasterCard labs. So we work as well with the banks. We work with the insurance companies. Yeah. So this is a quite interesting project that actually was developed from the scouting brief. So bank approached us and they said, okay, so we want to sell more loans in the retail stores, but we did the survey and we know that people are quite, let's say, uncomfortable with saying about their earnings in front of the counter, that everyone can actually hear you. So maybe we can change it. Maybe you can scout for the company that will do a verification of the client and give the reference number, and then you can go to the booth and sign all the agreements, take a loan, and take the item that you want. And he said, okay, so this we can do, of course, but we think there is no reason to have two separate processes, so online and offline. We can combine it in the online infrastructure only. So what we came up with the application that you can enter the store, like a hardware store, scan the prices of the items that you want to buy. Those prices are adding up. You have your, let's say, installment rate. You need to authenticate yourself, so you do photo of your face and photo of your card. If your scoring is okay, you can take a loan. You sign a loan by the online signature by SMS. And if everything is okay, contract is signed, we are issuing a virtual card that we do together with MasterCard, and you can go to the POS, tap your phone to the POS, and the payment is done. And this is actually built from startups that already exists. Everything is combined together, and we're just creating the, let's say, user experience solution, and we integrated it together to the bank. What is key for this was actually a business model for the bank, because we are totally changing the way the consumer finance is working. Because you don't need to win the tenders with the retail stores. You can basically sell your loans and nobody knows, because you just have a card payment. So it becomes, let's say, more and more relevant for the bank. The second part is the platform for introducing, let's say, for dealing with value-added services. I see I have 1 minute, so I will, let's say, speed it up. So basically, the idea is to customize the accounts and have one company that deals with value-added services and offers them to the banks, that we as consumers can get not, let's say, lounge on the airport and concierge, but something that we really need, and we can customize it in this company. Or the digital onboarding, really interesting, interesting case. Banks want, like, they're jealous of Revolut's and N26 and all those challenger banks of the way that they do customer acquisition. So basically, you're downloading Revolut app, you have a photo of your face and photo of your ID, and basically you can do stuff in the wallet. So what is this? This is a company that is able to give this process to the banks. But it's harder for the bank to do it than for the Revolut to do it. So, so this company, we built a framework where you put in different solutions, because it's not an issue for the bank to, or for the big corporation to find a biometric solution. The issue is this biometric solution needs to be compliant enough. They need to work on the banking outsourcing regime to deliver. And they are quite scared that this startup will fail, and what next? Because we have customers to serve, and we need to deliver this process constantly. So this is a framework that we integrate to the banking app, and we have third-party providers that we can always switch if something is happening. And we are not delivering only biometry, we are delivering biometry and the whole thing behind it, so signature, emotion recognition, and all the things, let's say, that bank needs. I see I run out of the time already, but I think that's it. If you have any questions, please approach me. Thank you very much.